If you were to cast a movie about a man trying to save a small town, Clark Gable probably wouldn't be your first choice. You might think of Jimmy Stewart or Henry Fonda or even Ronald Reagan. Yet it's Gable who has a starring role in a real-life drama about a town that hopes its best days aren't gone with the wind.
Would you like some coffee, sir?
Listen, this is where all the action is, right here.
Because I'd heard all these stories about Clark Gable, and I was...
You worked with Clark Gable?
She was a classmate of Clark Gable, yeah.
Nick is the sister that went with Clark Gable.
33 years after his death, Clark Gable is still the talk of the town in Cadiz, Ohio.
Why was Gable Gable? And I think it's because he came from a small town. He never lost that reality of his feet were on the ground.
This small town boy went on to become the king of Hollywood.
Red, you go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Most people remember Gable as Rhett Butler, but to the 3,500 folks who live in this coal mining community, he's just a hometown boy, born in Cadiz on February 1st, 1901.
Here's the Clark Gable sign. We have to tell people right where it is because they drive past it all the time.
Mike Cope grew up here and is president of the Clark Gable Foundation.
This town is a very old town, one of Ohio's first. This has been the most difficult period since the late 1970s. At one time in 1985, tiny little Harrison County that only had about 18,000 people had 25% unemployment. That's pretty devastating. Thinking about Clark Gable and activities around that lift people's spirits away from the fact that the mines have closed and they are not earning the salaries that they used to earn.
Some still remember the good old days. 90-year-old Frances Jackson was just 14 when she met a 16-year-old named William Clark Gable.
He went to work one morning and he told me it was his birthday, and what would I give him his first kiss? I said, no. That's all there was to that. Sometimes I wished afterwards that I had, when he left here and never come back. I would have liked to seen him after he grew up.
Gable, the teenager, left eastern Ohio later that year, and the rest is Hollywood history. He isn't the only local celebrity. George Armstrong Custer was born here, too. But that's another story. In Cadiz, there's only one king.
I've seen Gone with the Wind 171 times.
Ann Rossi has over 5,000 items in her Gable collection.
He was good looking. He was a man's man. He was a, the women all loved him.
Kiss me. Kiss me.
He was just Gable. He had it, whatever you call it, he had it.
I believe this is the car that he had his first heart attack in.
Jim McCartney owns Gable's '54 Coupe de Ville.
It's quite an experience to think that you're holding the steering wheel that Clark Gable held and drove.
Young people in love and never hungry.
But Chuck and Jackie Horn's look-alike wedding tops everybody.
When I tell them, well, Clark Gable was my best man. A lot of people know that Clark is deceased. And they said, oh, come on now. Well, once in a while we got to pull out the pictures and show them, well, here's Clark Gable and here's Marilyn Monroe.
It was just something out of fantasy land. It was like they were actually there,
Don't make me laugh.
This isn't just fun and games. I mean, this is also business.
The folks in Cadiz have a dream. Right now, it's only a small monument, a souvenir stand, and a vacant lot. But someday...
This whole area should become a bed and breakfast with shops and movie memorabilia, country arts and crafts, that sort of thing. The sort of thing that people are very much into today with a Hollywood twist.
To create this tourist mecca, the foundation raises money through parties and festivals honoring their native son. The goal is to rebuild the house where Gable was born. So far, they've raised about $300,000, and they plan to begin the reconstruction this spring.
Nostalgia sells. People are interested in nostalgia. People look back at simpler times that were not so difficult to understand when we didn't have some of the horrible problems that we deal with today.
There was scarlet and red and terror.
Shirley Mae Marker wrote a song about Gable, her town, and those better days.
I think everybody needs a dream. Everybody needs something to hold on to. And if it can be something good and wholesome, I think that's good.
The town is anchored in reality, just like Clark Gable was. Many of us have to leave for various reasons, but because we're not physically here, doesn't mean that our heart isn't still. It's a place filled with hope. There are still people here that say, this is where I was born and where I want to raise children. Yes, Clark Gable has been dead for some 30 years, but what he represented lives on.
You like my electrical personality, huh?